AI just exposed the truth about Bruce Lee's incredible speed. Bruce Lee's incredible speed on screen and in real life has been described as unbelievable and almost impossible for cameras of his time to capture. Was it simply a trick, or was Lee operating on a level most humans could never reach? It was this very question that prompted Joe Rogan, after watching slowed-down footage of Lee's punches, to exclaim, "This is impossible." But what if there was a way to cut through the myths to uncover the truth about Bruce Lee's incredible speed? Today, thanks to AI technology, martial arts historians are closer than ever to understanding what really made Lee's movements so extraordinary. Let's take a look. The science of isometric training. To understand how Bruce Lee transformed himself into a symbol of speed, we need to look closely at the science behind the training method he embraced, isometrics. Unlike traditional exercises that involve repeated movements, lifting a weight up and down, for example, an isometric contraction means holding a position without moving. Imagine pushing against a wall as hard as you can. The wall doesn't move, but your muscles fire at full capacity. For most athletes in the 1960s, this approach was unfamiliar and even counterintuitive. The belief was that speed came from practicing fast movements, while strength came from heavy lifting. Isometrics challenged that thinking by showing that static contractions could develop strength more quickly than many dynamic exercises. What Bruce Lee saw in this method was a way to bridge the gap between raw power and applied speed. Modern studies confirm what Lee discovered decades earlier. When a muscle contracts isometrically, it recruits a higher percentage of fast-twitch fibers, the very fibers responsible for explosive movement. These are the fibers sprinters rely on to accelerate off the blocks. It is the same fibers that enable a martial artist to deliver a strike that lands before the opponent can react. By conditioning his body with daily isometric holds, Lee was training his muscles to generate force instantly, without the delay of building momentum. AI simulations have added a new layer of understanding to this. By analyzing archived footage of Lee's training routines and overlaying biomechanical models, researchers can now estimate the amount of force he produced during specific movements. The findings are striking. His muscle contractions, even in what appeared to be simple static holds, prepared his body to unleash rapid bursts of energy. This explains why his punches often looked instantaneous. He had conditioned himself to bypass the hesitation most athletes experience between thought and action. Another advantage of isometrics is efficiency. Where traditional strength training might require long sessions and a high risk of injury, static holds can be performed quickly and safely. Lee often designed his own equipment, such as a homemade iso chain, to replicate the resistance of a power rack. This allowed him to practice anywhere, anytime, reinforcing his philosophy that training should never be limited by circumstance. Critics sometimes argue that isometric training alone cannot explain Bruce Lee's speed. And that is true. It was not a magic formula. But combined with his martial arts background, his conditioning, and his philosophy, isometrics became a tool that amplified his natural abilities into something that appeared superhuman. AI analysis doesn't just validate this. It shows how specific and intentional his methods really were. What's most remarkable is that Lee seemed to understand the physics of speed without needing a computer to prove it. He knew that explosive strikes came not from constant repetition, but from teaching the body to generate maximum force in the smallest possible time frame. That knowledge set him years ahead of his contemporaries, and it laid the groundwork for a truth we're only now uncovering in full detail. But the secret to Bruce Lee's speed wasn't purely physical. As well as training his body, Lee trained his mind in philosophies that would reflect what he wanted to achieve.